Hi everyone, welcome to WEglobal Future Talks. My name is Irmak and I'll be hosting today's session. First of all, I just want to briefly introduce myself. My name is Irmak Göle. I'm working at WEglobal. I'm the head of project execution unit. So basically, I'm responsible for the project management operations of WEglobal. Currently, we are managing 30 projects all around the world, and we are currently implementing projects in 9 different countries and in many different sectors, including like civil society, employment, education, agriculture, ICT sector. So we have a lot of different projects in different countries and in different sectors. And actually today we dedicated this session to one of our projects, which has recently started in July. We started this project, and I have Cleofe with me today. Hi again, Cleofe.
Hello, everybody. Hi.
Welcome. And Cleofe, she is the team leader of our Promoting Youth Employment project. Cleofe, could you please introduce yourself a little bit, maybe your background, the projects that you have worked in?
Okay. And okay, I will make it short. We have not so much time. Unfortunately, my career is 45 years long, so I will make it short, talking only about Turkey. I'm here since the beginning of 2012 as a short term at the time Ministry of Development. Then at the end of 2012, I started with İşkur, Youth Employment and Youth Entrepreneurship module. Later on, I worked with TBB. It is Union of Municipality of Turkey in a project who was putting together social policies and employment policies, empowerment of disadvantaged people. After that, Roma project with Ministry of Family, I replaced the team leader. And then again, Ministry of Family, cooperation between Ministry of Family and CSO. And we have made a lot of trainings for CSO and Ministry of Family, but especially we wrote a governance model based on the international standards of Council of Europe related to decision-making, participation of CSO, engagement in policy making. And now I'm here.
Great, thank you very much. And today our agenda is, first we will talk about Cleofe's project. As I mentioned, it's promoting youth employment in TR33 region. I will leave the floor to Cleofe in a minute, and then she'll be explaining the details of this project. And then in the second part, I just want to discuss with Cleofe her recent experiences in the project management, especially in this crisis period. Maybe we can discuss a little bit more the difficulties that we have experienced, the challenges, and also lessons learned and the best practices as well. So this is the plan for today. And also I enabled the chat section as well, so I can follow. If anyone has a question or comment, you can just write it. And I'll be, of course, asking to our guest speaker. So moving on, Cleofe, I just want to ask you, could you please introduce the project that you're currently working on, which has recently started actually?
Okay. As you heard from Irmak, we started almost 1 month ago. Today is 14, we started 16th of July. And we have submitted our inception report in 15 days because officially the project started 1st of July on paper, but you know, due to COVID, there were some delays in arriving in Mardin. And our beneficiary is the development agency of this TR33 region. It means 4 provinces: Mardin, Batman, Siirt, and Shirna. And DICA, the development agency, I have to say they are very much committed and interested. They did a big job in preparing the QR OIS and QR. The objective of the project is to support young people to get better qualification with a lot of trainings related to job profiles that are needed in the labor market. This was the result of the preliminary study of DICA on job profiles needed in the labor market. This will be done with MONE lifelong learning cooperation, public education centers, and the other important stakeholder in the 4 provinces are the universities, because we are also trying to support an improvement in the career guidance centers of the universities that usually are on paper, as for example, University of Batman told us exactly yesterday, but they are not working so efficiently. And with the university, we will have a lot of intervention for the students, career guidance support, and employer visionary speech, entrepreneurship, competition, because this is another part with COSGAP. In all this, we have also training for the employers in the region, especially linked to the fact how they can better manage the young talents. And then finally, we have a component which is very important. It is how to work better with employers out of the region for investment attraction and for valorization of the trained young people. The project has in parallel a supply contract for the public education centers, and as usual, the supply contract is a little bit late. So the first point that we had also to plan was how to start, what to do first, and how to go on. But we were also talking about this in the preparation of the TP, and so it will be not a problem if the supply is arriving at the start of the beginning of next year. I don't know how many details you wish to have, but any question will come from you.
Actually, you covered all, but maybe we have 4 components, right?
Yes, but the third component is related. The first is young people and employers training. The second is related to capacity building of TICA and university. The third is related with awareness raising and communication. So that are specific events related to this, but always having as main target the young people, either young unemployed or young students. Mm-hmm. With COSGAP, as I was telling, we will cooperate, but it will be substantially a formal cooperation, because we will support young entrepreneurs to get the training online of COSGAP, and then we will add other training, specialization, e-trade, social digital marketing, and so on. And well, the fourth component is this investment support, linking out of the region with employers in other 7 provinces to push them to understand how interesting it is to come to invest in Mardin, because we have talented young people, and DICA is offering a lot of course, of grants and investment support, financial side.
Actually, you already told some of the points, but my next question will be on the end result of this project. I mean, what would be the impact that we'll be creating at the end of this project?
Okay, first of all, we expect the beneficiary to get more experience on project management of big projects. This is at 3.5 million, and they should be committed a lot. Stakeholders to have more capacity in working in coordination. This is a big problem. You know, interinstitutional cooperation, it's not the easiest issue here in Turkey, but maybe everywhere, but especially here. We expect the young trainees to have a certified skill and ability, because all the trainings, or mostly they are under the scheme of Ministry of Education, Lifelong Learning, DET. And then we expect the entrepreneurs to have the entrepreneurs to have better business plans and to apply for financial grants, both to COSCET, but not only, also in DICA, where we will support the investment support offices of the 4 provinces to provide entrepreneurship and financial consultancy to these entrepreneurs to be. And of course, the new investment support offices to have new contacts out of the region in the 7 provinces identified in the TOR for attracting investors in the region. If you want to know numbers, oh my God, we have terrible numbers.
Okay. Cleofe, could you please explain or share your experiences during the inception phase? Because I know that when we're about to start this project, I think it was in June, you prepared many different scenarios for the whole contract duration. Maybe you can share those experiences.
The first point is about the project is 3 years. So when the projects are so long, usually people feel relaxed and the start is a little bit slow. Now we are here now in everybody of us all around the world in this special condition under the COVID pandemic. And this is even giving to everybody the impression that we cannot plan, that things are going to be changing each 2 weeks. That's the permission of the ministries. For example, yesterday we were talking about this with the universities. They even don't know in this moment what will happen if they can provide 40-60. So it means 40 online lessons and 60 in presence. But still, let's say the authorities, they did not take official decision about this. So we had to understand how to deal with all this. If you count all the activities, with all the repetition of the trainings in 4 provinces, with all the groups, we have 210 different activities and events. And it means that in 36 months, take away the inception phase, 35 months, if you divide per 210 each month, I don't know how many, you can make your account. So we started with the first principle is adult first. So in the first 6 months, we will first of all deal with adults. It means employer trainings, university trainings, DICA trainings, and social partners and local actors trainings, in order, we hope that the adults coming from these different environments like university, DICA, economic world and local actors, municipalities and so on, they will be more disciplined and they will be less connected to official statement of the authorities, unless the lockdown is coming, of course, this is different. So we will have the first 6 months focused on adults, plus the start of entrepreneurs to be. One of the training will start at the end of the year and then go on in the next year, 6 months. So adult first, of course, with safety measures. That means conference room hosting double number as the participant, all the new normal, let's say, mask. Even we are thinking to have the opening conference that should be implemented mid of October, open air. God thanks, here the climate in mid-October is very nice, so we could have these 200 people sitting as in an open air wedding. Then we will go for the next step. Of course, we are visiting now, we are at the very beginning, the public education centers, and we come together with Ministry of Education, and next week we will start briefing meetings all together. There are some regulations which are a little bit strange, let's say. For example, we should register all our trainers in the system of MONE by 30th of September. So we have to understand exactly for the next year who will be the trainers. So numbers are high. If you think that, for example, entrepreneurship competition and visionary speech, we gathered 1,500 participants. Informative meetings on careers and career days, we gathered 2,000 participants. In career centers, we have to reach at least 3,600 students and provide career guidance and counseling. So employer and social partner, we have to train 800 people. So the numbers, as usual, for Turkey are quite big, but we will see.
Cleofe, one of our participants, Onur, has a question. I'll just read it, and I appreciate if you can answer it. Onur says, employer might hesitate to get involved in the project activities. What's your plan to encourage them to take part? Are there any already planned measures for securing private sector ownership?
Yeah, the technical proposal also was highlighting this point. In all the trainings for the young unemployed or undergraduates, there will be the possibility to invite them as co-speaker and to give examples. Or also there are some of the trainings that are officially for the Ministry of Education, for example, 12 days. But in the technical proposal, WEglobal proposed from the very beginning to add 2 or 3 days, not only for balancing, not only bureaucratic story, balancing the hours, daily program for Ministry of Education are 6 hours, EU daily working time for us is 8 hours. So this was on one side to balance this type of differences, but on the other side to get in touch directly with the trainees during their VT period or training. This is one point. The other is there is an additional activity who was not envisaged in the TOR, and it is related to the possibility to ask the employer which other job profiles they would like to be trained. So during the employer's training, we have already prepared the P&A, let's say. We already prepared the possibility to gather with the questionnaire their ideas, and we will see what is coming up, elaborating, of course, this hopefully not 800 answers, but maybe half of them or even 25% of them. And we will propose to DICA and also to the other stakeholders to implement this training, if not under our project, because resources are limited, maybe in the future step. We ask also to meet as soon as possible the provincial employment and education boards. You know that the governors are chairing this board, and where Chamber of Commerce, representative of employers, Ministry of Education, and are sitting together, and they make plans for the next 3 or 6 months. And this will be also a place where we can give information about the results of this CNA, that employers, what they think.
Thank you. Thanks for the answer. Maybe we can talk a little bit more on the project management side. Cleofe, as a project manager, I mean, you have been involved. You have been working in a lot of different projects, and especially in the position of team leader. What would you suggest, or what would be your advices for the project managers during this crisis time? I mean, if you could give us some tips or best practices or lessons learned, that would be really useful for us.
Thank you. Yes. Okay. keep cool, keep a cool head, and be optimistic. This is the first point. But be prepared to what is Murphy's law. What can go wrong will go wrong. So I think, okay, usually I think we should do what we always do as team leader or project manager, but do it more, how can I say, hardly. I think the first point should be clarify roles and responsibilities. You know, when there are crises of any type, people go in panic. So the best thing is that they should know as much as possible what is the role and what is their responsibility. But on the other side, we have to track what will be the critical resources and to monitor it. For example, it seems funny, but in our project, one critical resource is space, availability of, let's call it classroom or training spaces, because we cannot put together 25 people pressed in one room or in one laboratory. So this will be a critical resource. The other is in crisis time, we have to be more and more near to the stakeholders. We have to push them somehow to tell their concerns as much as possible in advance and not in the last minute. This is a big problem with some institutions because usually they try to put, let's say, the dust under the kiln and not tell the problems. So, but this is an important point. The other is let's gather factual data, not gossips. In crisis times, there is a lot of gossips going around. Maybe it will be like that. Then let's take our decisions on the base of factual data. And it means also to manage very carefully communication channels. Because, as you know, miscommunication is a side product of gossiping. And as a project manager, we usually feel very responsible to handle all the matters on our shoulder. But we have to be aware that in crisis time, the best manager is know when to ask for help.
Or delegate.
And delegate, but also to ask for help in not only as a supervisor, but also to the backstopping or upper level of responsibility. So based on recent, yes, experience, this is what I can tell you.
Great, thank you very much. I also agree, especially the communication parts, because in the last couple of months, we had, of course, experienced lots of challenges because in March, we just started to work in a different environment. Everyone started working remotely, and we had to establish very good communication with the clients, with the beneficiaries, with the contracting authorities. We did lots of weekly, monthly, even daily meetings as online. And also, and I think also being flexible is another thing that that I don't know, project managers should keep in mind, because as you said, everything is changing like weekly or daily basis, and we have to follow the recent situation. We have to follow the risks, and then we need to take action very quickly, be more flexible, and we need to, I don't know, adapt ourselves to the existing environment.
We are doing this very happily. The point is that we have contracting authorities that are, the more the situation is, let's say, dangerous, the more bureaucratic they try to become. Because under crisis, you have also exactly the opposite reaction, to make your environment more rigid. And we have civil servants in front of us who are not ready to take any responsibility when changes are needed. And so, yes, being flexible, but on the other side, knowing that our contracting authority are not flexible.
Yeah.
They have a temptation to become even more rigid. This is the normal reaction to panic. You can have both reactions, you know. So
Yeah, and also our project managers at WEglobal, we wanted to act like influencers in our projects, because we had a lot of meetings, talks with the beneficiary, and we tried to actually convince them for different models of implementing project activities, because many of our activities were face-to-face, as you can imagine, but at some point we need to transfer them on digital platforms, and there the project manager team, the project management team were very active, because we used our negotiation skills to convince the beneficiary and the contracting authority to use alternative solutions, actually. And I think we'll continue to do that in the upcoming days as well.
you know, the point is also about end beneficiaries. We are here, at least in this project, Youth Employment, talking about young people, specialized staff of the university, Sandika, employers, and the young people. Even yesterday was underlined again by the university deputy rector. She said young people is really fed up to have online since March. They want to come back to university, they want social contact, they need to see us and to have passionate exchange of ideas. So we can propose for some trainings, but if you have, for example, communication and negotiation training, okay, you can do a small part online, but the other is exercise, role playing, interaction. So the end beneficiary will also suffer a lot if we don't consider. So the only solution will be to cut the groups in small groups.
Yeah, of course.
But this
In
means
small
under
groups.
project management and budget management a lot.
Additional workload.
Yes. Oh, workload, okay, you can manage, but money is different. You cannot manage. I mean, it's fixed. If you split in two, you need two times the trainer to be together with the people. And it means double of working days. So where do you find the money?
Cleofe, thank you very much for all the valuable contributions. Actually, we are at the end of our session, but our co-host Levent Bey maybe would like to comment, or I don't know, maybe he has a question. Levent Bey?
Irmak, thank you. I mean, it was first of all lovely and very useful to listen. Thank you very much. I do have actually two questions, and you had actually discussed most of it. But two questions is like for the project management. First, the development, right? Like writing the project proposal, like the one that you are managing, and then the implementation. I have two sides of the question. So right now, I mean, really, Cleofe, we are managing a project which we haven't assumed that such an environment was going to be. And so you have a totally different proposal in your hands that maybe you are trying to manage and the terms of reference. So nowadays, people are really confused how to write a project proposal right now, and they don't know how the situation is going to be in the next 6 months. But given your experiences, would you give them some recommendations, some innovative ideas, some plan Bs to add value for for the projects that are going to be starting in 2021? And the second one is that we do have lots of attendees who are part of a project. They could be a project manager, a finance, a communication person, or an IT person. It doesn't matter. But do you have any like tips to them for the future? I know you are, in my opinion, you are one of the really top experts in our project management sector. So any tips from you would be quite helpful. Thank you.
Thank you. So the point is, I was reading today a report on the magazine The Science, of course, in the newsletter of this. And there are a lot of think tanks around the world that are making modeling about what will happen with COVID. And they are based, of course, on data, current data of World Health Organization, but also coming from the single countries and comparing different behaviors in front of the crisis of different countries and trying to understand if this is linked to a better trend, let's say, of the pandemic. And okay, the situation is that there are not so many data still, and especially about the connection with diseases that already were in the population. Okay, this is a special situation. But finally, they stated that we will have this situation until 2025 for sure. So it is not the point of 2021. At least to stabilize, we will have 5 years. It means we have really to think that this is the so-called new normal. On one side, we will learn by doing. So it is something that it's really different compared to other critical situations in which we have been working before. Moreover, in some environment, there is a not stable situation. We are here on the border of Syria. We have 12% of the population which is Syrian. And, you know, we have to consider also this point. So what is my feeling? Still not so much rationalized until now, but let's say the intuition is we have to work on double binario in Italian, what is double level. On one side, to simulate that we can do almost everything with just with some small innovation, very small, because there is an impact on the people about innovation. Innovation cannot be metabolized in short time by the institution, by the organization, and even by the individuals. So we have to be soft. Don't write TP in which you launch wonderful innovation in one shot inside one situation. It's impossible to implement. We need to be balanced also in introducing, you know, the online or whatever you can invent. So the second point is about, on the other side, we have to push a little bit people to assume that these changes that we are facing in social distancing and health issues and so are also very much related only to our responsibility. It means that we cannot consider that the COVID can block the life and can block, we cannot allow, how can I say? So on one side, for example, I'm pushing everybody. We submitted to each and all the stakeholder a calendar with dates exactly. We will do this, we will do that. Because you have also to pull and push trust and that they believe that they can do it. Because, you know, this fears is blocking everybody and making much more damage than the COVID. Maybe I am a little bit confused, but because we are at the beginning, if we meet after 1 or 1.5 months, I can give more suggestion and consideration.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thanks a lot.
Irmak, can I have one question to you?
Yeah, of course, of course.
At the beginning of the conversation, you said you guys are managing 30 projects. it is not easy, I assume, managing 30 projects. I mean, how do you do that? Maybe in like 3-4 bullet points. It's, you know, it's like a portfolio of many.
Yeah, it's a big portfolio. As I said, we have 30 projects in 9 different countries, and actually the total budget of the project is around 50 million euros. So we have a very big and qualified team, of course. The first thing is the people. So we have our local staff in Turkey, and we have our project managers in Serbia, Moldova, Kosovo, Macedonia, and in the other countries as well. And I mean, I think I would say communication within the team, within the company. We have a very, very good backstopping team as well, because as you said, within our company, we don't have only the project managers. We have a lot of different departments who are a part of the project in a different aspect. We have a finance team, we are getting IT support, we are getting graphic design support and recruitment support as well. So actually it's teamwork, and we are managing all these projects with our good team. And of course, as Cleofe said, as the project managers in our department, we are taking a lot of responsibilities on our shoulders. Time to time, we are acting almost like a team leader. So we are managing the project with a very high level of ownership. And currently, we are doing really good. I mean, even in this COVID crisis as well, I believe that we managed it quite well. Of course, we had many difficulties, we had challenges, but with timely interventions, I think we managed it quite good. But of course, as Cleofe said, it's ongoing. We're adapting ourselves to each situation, and we'll be tracking the current situation, and then we'll be acting and taking actions in all of our projects.
Thank you very much.
Thanks a lot. I think we don't have any other comments or questions. Cleofe, would you like to say anything while we are closing?
Thank you for giving me the possibility to talk to all of you. I hope that we will meet again, maybe later on, about doing.
Sure, Cleofe. Thank you very much for your valuable contributions, and I'm sure you'll be implementing a very, very successful project with very sustainable.
We are two.
Very sustainable results.
Yeah.
I would like to thank everyone, to all of our participants. I would like to thank our IT and communication team as well, who made this meeting possible today. Thanks a lot, everyone. Take care and have a nice weekend.